Hi everyone, welcome to the channel Sluggers. I'm Anupam Mishra and I'll provide a more detailed introduction about myself and the channel towards the end of the session. Right now, let's get into error number 13 of the series 50 most essential grammatical errors for the XAT. See, guys, this is not a random list of 50 most essential errors, essential grammatical errors that we have created. There's a certain process that went behind it. And for those of you who want to understand what the process was, I've created a different video where I explain that in detail, and you can check that video out by clicking on the cue card here on the top. Okay, all right. Then let's. Now, the error that we'll talk about in this session is basically based on the rule, violates the rule that is most ubiquitously taught whenever the topic of verb and tenses comes up in any kind of grammar class, right? They always tell you that if there are multiple activities being expressed in any expression, you need to maintain a consistency in tenses, right? So maintain consistency in tenses unless the information to be delivered requires differential treatment. So unless it is required by whatever information you want to convey, you're required by that information to use different tenses. Okay, maybe you're relating events, maybe you're relating some incident where multiple events happen at different points in the timeline, right? In that case, you might have to use different tenses. But unless it's if that's not the case, in such a scenario, you'd want to stick with the same tense. Okay, so let's look at the first sentence to understand this better. It says, just before midnight, the sky darkened, the wind strengthened, and a deep rumble announces the approaching storm. Now, if you notice here, the sky darkened, past tense, the wind strengthened, again past tense, simple past tense, simple past tense, and the third part is a deep rumble announces the approaching storm. So this becomes your simple present tense, right? So two events you have in the past, and then suddenly the third event is in the present tense. Okay, now we can guess from the information that is being conveyed here that this is not one of those special occasions where it calls for using different tenses for different parts of the sentence, right? This is not like all of this is happening at the same point of time. So hence they should all be in the same tense. Either all of them should be in the past tense, depending on what actually the information was. If all of this happened in the past, they should all be in the past. If all of this is something that happens every day, it should be a simple present tense form, right? So it happens quite generally in the present, then it can be the simple present tense. Okay, so let's look at the second sentence. It says, just before midnight, the sky darkened, the wind strengthened, and a deep rumble announced the approaching storm. Now, in this case, we certainly have all three of the verbs in the simple past form, right? So hence, like all three of the events are in the same tense, and hence this sentence makes sense. Sentence A will not make sense, right? So sentence A is incorrect, B is correct. Now, an example for you to try. Now, this, by the way, is to some extent a quote by George R.R. Martin. It says, the storms come and go, the waves crash overhead, the big fish eat the little fish, and I kept paddling. Okay. Now, do you think this is grammatically correct? If yes, well, let me know in the comment section. If no, in that case, what do you type in the comment section? What do you think should be the correct version of this sentence? Finally, guys, my quick introduction. I'm Anupam Mishra and I'm Lucknow alumnus. I have worked in the past with organizations such as Hotstar, UNICEF, Apollo TAS, IMS, etc. I've also worked with an academy as an educator in the past, recognized by their Johnny Ive Award. And I was regarded as one of the top VRC educators that they had. These are my CAT credentials, and Sluggers is basically my endeavor to plug in all the crucial gaps that I believe there are in the test prep industry, starting with the CAT exam. Okay, now, yeah, so that's about me. Do move on to the next error. Okay.